I'm with Sharath Rajasakar, Vice President of Engineering for Oracle Unity. Now, Oracle Unity is our customer data platform. It's a service we sell to customers. Sharath, welcome.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about Oracle Unity.
So, Scott, Oracle Unity is a first-party customer engagement platform. It's a platform that our customers use to bring first-party engagement data, signals about our customers, about their users, and everything sort of streams into this data platform.
Now, I understand that you inherited this infrastructure when you got here. So let's go back in time a little bit. What did that look like when you got here?
So the first version of this data platform, Scott, was built on Hadoop. A lot of the first generation CDPs essentially started with Hadoop because Hadoop was the dominant big data technology stack at that time. Hadoop brings about lots of services. It's not a single service. So you've got HBase, you've got HDFS, you've got Hive, you've got Zookeeper, you've got Kafka in there, you've got Spark and MapReduce jobs. All of those services have to work together in this broader cluster. So our first implementation looked like this, right? It was this really large big data cluster which housed the data of all our customers. Not a lot of data isolation, as you can imagine. It's a single large cluster, and this cluster was deployed in all the regions where we operated the service out of. Now, on this big data cluster, we ran a series of jobs for our customers, and these jobs would do things like bring data in, ETL. It would essentially cleanse the data, dedupe the data, the customer records, do mastering workflows, and then activate the data across different channels. And all this was running on Hadoop. That was the first version of our product. And that's really how we started.
But I think there are some challenges with that. Describe some of those.
Yeah, absolutely. So we ran into a number of challenges with Hadoop straight off the bat, right? The first challenge was reliability. Hadoop is a constellation of many, many services. And when you have many, many services in your end-to-end workflow, any one service having even a momentary sort of glitch in performance would have a cascading effect on the performance of a job, on the performance of a query or a workflow that you're in the middle of. The second challenge that we ran into was really around security. So as you know, in Oracle, we take security really seriously. And with Hadoop, with each of these individual services, there is no single consistent way to administer security policies, security rules, and you really have to manage security in dozens of places across your cluster. The third challenge that we ran into was really scalability. Now, Hadoop scales really well as a big cluster and as a big data platform in itself. But when it comes to scaling individual customers based on their own respective workflows, it was very challenging. And then the final point really is sort of the complexity, right? The complexity of managing day-to-day operations was hard. We required very specialized skill set, and this made it very hard for us to scale out easily, which we really had to have people who really knew what they were doing, knew how they were sort of interacting with the system on a day-to-day basis. From an overall end-to-end maintenance standpoint, the cost standpoint, the complexity standpoint, we were really starting to feel the pain as the service started to grow and as we started to onboard more and more customers.
So where did you land? Let's talk about the after. Let's talk about the good part.
Yeah. So when we started to look at this, we were looking to do a few things. We were looking to build a modern, scalable, petabyte scale service that could really scale with the customer needs. So when we started to look at modernizing it, we chose Autonomous Data Warehouse. And Autonomous Data Warehouse really gives us this scalable, modern data foundation to scale as our customer data scales. We also looked at how we can move out of this very traditional MapReduce plus Lambda style architecture to a much more modern serverless data architecture that embraced some of the newer sort of advances in the way we process data today, which is more a Delta style architecture tuned towards real-time processing. And the Autonomous Data Warehouse gave us that core foundation for us to be able to do all of this. So we moved all the data processing into Autonomous Data Warehouse. This allowed us to provision an independent data warehouse for every customer. So that immediately gave us customer isolation, data isolation, both from a storage standpoint as well as from a processing standpoint. And when we did that, we could run queries off of the customer data warehouse. We could run all the processing jobs, all the ETLs, all the ELTs as data came in, as data was processed, as data was activated, right out of the autonomous data warehouse. And this was a huge benefit for us because we could now start to delegate some of the day-to-day maintenance activities to the autonomous data warehouse team, and everything was automated, right? We moved from something which was extremely manual to something which is fully automated. From a security standpoint, we saw some tremendous benefits because we now have a single service where we can administer all our security policies, all our security rules. And some of our customers, come from industry verticals like, FinServe or, healthcare and other service verticals where they really value this level of security. They value data security. And, around the world, we see companies sort of moving towards stronger and stronger, data governance and, bringing in more features around data residency and data sovereignty. And sort of autonomous data warehouse gave us that footprint to really build on and deliver those sorts of features.
So it's all about the customer experience. So what are some of the customers experiencing now that you're in this new architecture?
So ETL was about 2 times faster. Moving data between tables within the data warehouse was about 3 times faster. Our ID graph jobs ran about 5x faster. Queries, what we found, were running about 10x faster. And when we started to look at recovery times, we were able to recover this cluster about 50 times faster than what it would take for us to recover a traditional Hadoop cluster.
All right, so we're in a good spot now. What's next on the roadmap?
From a roadmap standpoint, I think what we really want to do is we want to deepen our integration into the autonomous data warehouse. There is a lot of processing that we do on the data warehouse, and one of the areas we are looking at is to move more and more of the data processing into the data warehouse. Convert from Java to PL SQL perhaps, reduce the shuffle steps that happen in moving data in and out of the data warehouse, and try to do more and more processing. And this sort of just speeds up our performance over and beyond what we have today. And the benefits are already great, but I think we can get a lot more as we deepen this integration. The second thing we want to do is we want to provide more data governance features, more security features. I think Autonomous Data Guard is a great thing. Autonomous Database gives us lots of capabilities to extend our overall offering when it comes to things like access control, data governance features, things like bring your own key, for instance. These are all great things that our customers want, and we want to continue to offer those from the foundation of the Autonomous Data Warehouse. And then the third thing we're really looking at is how do we do data science within the database? So with all the data in the database, you really can benefit from not having to move the data out of the database, run a whole bunch of machine learning models, and then run scoring on those jobs, and then bring the data back into the database. We can instead leverage Oracle machine learning and do all the data science right where the data is. And this gives us the ability to go into real-time decisioning and real-time data science, which is I think where we want to go next.
That's amazing. So you're making a good thing even better and taking advantage of a lot of the services and things that people don't recognize that we have on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And you mentioned data science, Oracle in-database machine learning, a lot of things that, hey, you're getting your customers are getting some benefits today, and they're going to see more benefits in the future with all the performance and machine learning experience that you're going to provide for them. So
absolutely.
Thank you very much.